Hello, everybody. This is Mr. Martinich, the Extended Essay Coordinator for the IB program. I'm looking forward to hopefully meeting you all in person in the fall. Mr. Nelson and I have been in touch with each other about how to best communicate with you on helping to formulate a research question and getting through some of the early stages of the extended essay process comfortably as we near the end of the year, so that we can set you off this summer to write an outline and move forward with your research and organization in a productive fashion. So the first, or I should say the next step, because I know you composed proposals recently and are in the process of hopefully submitting them to the new Extended Essay Google Classroom. So please do that if you haven't done so. The next step is developing a contestable research question, which is the title of this document. Okay, you can see here, developing a contestable research question. So rather than just post this document, this Google Doc, on Google Classroom, I figured it would be best to share my thoughts, some anecdotes, and some additional commentary as I guide you through this document. Your research question is one of the most important parts of the research process and of the extended essay process. It's certainly going to undergo some revisions early on, and it may be something that you tweak even, as you begin to write your drafts. Obviously, we want as good of a question as we can arrive at as early as possible, so that you can begin your outlining and the actual research and writing. But a research question is so important because it allows you to explore your topic in a way that is consistent with what academics and scholars within your subject area do. It allows you also to utilize the tools of analysis that your teachers of your IB courses teach you, and it also allows you to develop an understanding of different perspectives related to your topic. And very, very important to the extended essay, it allows you to make an argument. So what do we mean by contestable? Something that is contestable by its nature has, more than one perspective, right? It's something that can be a topic that can be debated and should be able to be argued. One of those perspectives should be able to be argued over another, using evidence and using analysis of the research that you compile. Okay, so let's get started. Very important to developing a research question is you have to know something about your topic. Okay, you can't come up with a good research question if you know very little about your topic. So hopefully you've been doing some preliminary research work, as I call it here. And if you feel you have not done enough, and I would say that if you find yourself moving on to subsequent steps and having trouble, my first question for you is going to be, well, how much do you know about it? All right. If you don't know that much about your topic, it's going to be hard to develop a question that is sophisticated enough to write a good extended essay on. Okay, so I assume you have a general idea of what topic you would like to pursue. Before you formulate a research question, you must do some preliminary research work. Use this as an opportunity to familiarize yourself with your topic, identify broader themes inherent in your topic and in its subject area, and to learn about different perspectives or viewpoints embedded within your topic. So step 1, select your subject and identify your topic. If you've done a proposal, I would assume that you've already done this. Describe your work in one sentence. Use adjectives to describe your nouns. So remember, this is literally a step-by-step guide to formulating your research question. All right. You're going to see when we get to the next page, I'll let you scroll through the document. There's some workspace for you to actually do these steps. I would actually suggest that you take out a sheet of loose leaf paper and that you hand write these steps. All right. You literally go through these steps, writing by hand, one by one, and use it as just sort of a brainstorming stream of consciousness, constructive stream of consciousness, so to speak, as we go through this tutorial here. So once again, step one, you have your subject, your topic, describe it in one sentence. So the sort of formula here would be, I want to learn about or read about or study. I want to learn about blank in the area of blank. The example, I want to study the American Revolution in history. So the American Revolution in this case would be your broad topic. And of course, history would be your subject. So now that you have step one, handwritten, step two, suggest a question. This is not your final research question. Remember, we are just at step two. Try to describe your research by developing a question that specifies something about your topic. So, I am studying blank. That would be your topic, because in order to find out, and you can use any of those prompts, what is it you want to find out? So your example, I am studying the American Revolution because I want to find out who were its most influential figures. Another possible example, if you're sort of stuck. I am studying World War I because I want to find out what caused it. Right? Pretty straightforward. Okay? My wheelhouse is history and global politics. I am here to help you with the other subject areas, as is Mr. Nelson. But this would be a good time for you to reach out to possible mentors whose names are mentioned on the next page. I'll get to that in a second. They are going to be here to help you. And before the school year ends and before teachers sort of begin to check their email less frequently, which is going to be in about a week and a half, all right? When school officially ends, you might want to reach out to them and see if they would consider being your supervisor. Okay, so I'm just going to delete that. Okay, and then you can turn this into a direct question. Who were the most influential figures of the Revolutionary War? And likewise, I'm not going to type it out, but you could type, what were the most important causes of World War I? Now, this is incredibly important, and I've underlined it for a reason. Notice that this question, either of the two questions that I just mentioned, who were the most influential figures of the Revolutionary War, or what were the most important causes of World War I, these questions begin to take into account the inherent possibility that there may be more than one perspective within your topic. You should go through these steps with the idea that your final research question should suggest that there may be multiple perspectives or answers to your research. That is what it means to have a contestable research question. Okay. Step 3. And again, continue working through this on, I would strongly suggest a handwritten paper. It's just, I think, a much better way to get your thoughts out at this stage. You also have your evidence of what you did, 5 minutes ago. If this becomes sort of a brainstorming stream of consciousness type thing. Step 3, add a rationale. Take your questioning one step further by adding a second question aimed at determining your rationale. I am studying blank because I want to find out blank in order to understand how, why, or whether. So notice I've created this sort of template here for you to put in the specific aspects of your topic and inquiry. And the example here would be as a statement. I am studying the American Revolution because I want to find out who were its most influential figures in order to understand the role of leadership in revolutions. Okay? So this is sort of the underlying theme here, the role of leadership. And then you change that into a direct question. To what extent did the leadership of blank, pick a leader? George Washington, right? To what extent did the leadership of George Washington affect the outcome of the American Revolution? Okay. This step 3 is obviously going to be the most complex part. All right. And please, it is very important for you to understand that this, especially step 3, is not going to happen right away. All right. Takes scholars a very long time and a lot of thinking to formulate a sophisticated research question. So don't expect this to come in 1 or 2 minutes. Okay? Put your thoughts down on paper, use the template, give yourself a couple of different options. Okay, so obviously still staying within the confines of your topic and subject area. So I mean different options of different ways to express what you're interested in studying and researching and learning more about. Write them down. Take a break, right? Take a mental break, all right? And then come back to it, okay? This process is something that is entirely appropriate for to take an hour or two to really hammer home. And again, the less you know about your topic, the more difficult it's going to be. Okay, you really should be doing a fair amount of research, ideally 3 sources, all right, before you dive into trying to come up with a research question. I would say 3 sources if you're in group 3 essay, like history or global politics. If you are doing a book for literature, you need to have read that book, all right? You need to be in the midst of reading the book at the very least, and you should be looking up plot summaries. You can't write a research question if you don't know what the book is about. Okay, hopefully that's kind of obvious, but you'd be surprised how many students in the past have come to me and say, I want to do this question in this book. Have you read the book? No. So please take that into consideration. For visual arts, you need to, have a grasp of the artist and or the artworks that you are interested in viewing, analyzing. For film, you need to have watched the movies that you are going to be analyzing. Okay? Movies are enjoyable. You're studying film for a reason. It's a great course. You can't formulate a research question without viewing the films. And again, you'd be surprised, but there are students that by the end of the summer still haven't watched the films that they want to study. They have no good research question. So as we say, don't be that guy or don't be that girl, to be fair. Don't be that person and wait, all right? If you have a book in mind, a film in mind, read it, watch it, and then get to this step. Okay, you're going to have a fair amount of time on your hands. After the school year is done, if you have a job, great. Then you need to work your academic commitments in with that job. If you don't have a job, you can have a lot of time in your hands. So now's the time to get cracking on reading that book or watching those films if you are a English or film extended essay student. Okay. Those of you interested in doing dance, it would be a time for you to make sure you have that dance content learned before you venture into trying to write a research question. Okay. All right. Moving on to step 4. Repeat steps 1 to 3 as often as it takes for you to write enough detail to believe in what you are researching, to know what you want to find out, and to understand your reason for undertaking your research. Have someone read your answers in between your attempts to work through these steps. This will force you to stay on track and keep working. When you can adequately state the because I want to find out portion of your topic, you have determined your reason or purpose for studying and writing about it. Okay? That is the key, because I want to find out. So think, because I want to find out what the primary cause of World War I was. That's your contestable part, because one historian might have one perspective on the primary cause of World War I, and another historian might have a different idea. Okay, there might be one way to analyze a particular character in a work of literature versus another way of analyzing that character. Be aware that this is a critical step and yet a difficult step in the research process. You cannot write a full statement of purpose or rationale until you have gathered and read some solid information on your topic. Once you have done so, you'll almost be ready to write your research question. You should practice writing your questions. Writing a strong, focused research question is an integral part of your extended essay research. You should bring your work to your mentor to help. So on to mentor selection. This is the time, while these teachers are still consistently checking their email, for you to reach out and ask if they would be willing to supervise you for your extended essay. Okay. Hopefully, in many cases, you have had this teacher your junior year. Obviously, some of these teachers are only senior IB teachers. So perhaps, for example, if you are interested in studying history, you might want to reach out to your guidance counselor and see who your teacher is. Do you have Miss Mapergo or Miss Costanzo? And depending upon who you have for IB History 12, maybe reach out to that teacher and see if she will mentor you. I would say the same for English, depending if you have Mr. Pasca. We haven't trained Mr. Ianello yet, so he's not a mentor. But if you have a relationship with him, that might be something we can figure out. IB Film is 2 years, so most of you would know Ms. Coulter. Visual Arts is Ms. Schultz. If you don't know Ms. Schultz, you could reach out to her. Some of you have already reached out to me with respect to global politics. I am excited to hear that there are some essays in global politics. And I think that should cover it. So reach out to a possible supervisor sooner than later. Okay. If you want to type out stuff, you can use this here. All right. What I'm going to do on Google Classroom is create a research question assignment where you will just simply state your research question. Okay. Sort of, what you come up with, you'll state as an answer. I'm going to basically post it as a question. And you'll just, whatever research question you come up with, that's what you'll type, and that's what we'll, begin to work with. So if you have any questions or comments, please email me. Some of you have already done so. I appreciate you reaching out. It's nice to hear from you. Thank you for working your way through this. I hope you found it helpful. And again, please feel free to reach out to me directly if you have any questions or need clarification on anything. Okay, good luck. Get to work and enjoy the process. Okay, remember, you've chosen this subject and this topic because you're passionate about it. All right. And I know that you will find this a rewarding experience. Cheers.